I'm free now, somehow. Heading away from that last chapter back east. It's my former life, you know? My former life that I leave behind me back there in New York City. I'd gone to school there. I got a scholarship, took out some loans, got a degree. Despite the degree, I didn't have any luck finding a job. I ended up broke in the big city, and that's not a good feeling. I was living in a dark, strange place, and my roommate, who took care of the rent, and he also happened to be an addict, well, he wanted the rent money quick. So I made an inventory of everything, anything I had that I could sell to pay the rent, get a bite to eat. You know, I had a lot of books. Yeah, books. And during my college days, I'd bought a lot of books on the street from a street bookseller, a smiling southerner whose name I've now forgotten. I called him the Bookman. I decided, well, I'd do the same. Finally, I arrived at the spot that I'd secretly chosen on my reconnoiterings the day before.
Krичи, please! Krичи! Aye!
I penciled in my prices and laid out my books. And by God, they came. Readers from the nearby neighborhoods somehow sniffed out my books and descended upon them. I was saved, snatched from the brink of destitution by my friends Goethe, Camus, Rimbaud, Heidegger. Well, I set up again the next day, and again the next. And it wasn't long before I met other booksellers from all over the city who had also come to West 4th Street to set up shop.
Good morning, sir.
Ah, good morning.
What the fuck is happening out here today? Where is everybody at this hour?
Shouldn't be out here.
It's gonna rain, isn't it? Soon.
It's gonna rain. Yeah, it's gonna rain. It's really gonna rain. It ain't gonna be like
One of the first booksellers I met out there was Everett. Everett was an outdoorsman, and he was impervious to the cold. He'd wear shorts and Chinese slippers in all weather, every day of the year. Rick Sherman. Rick was into Timothy Leary and Robert Anton Wilson, so he was trying to rewire his consciousness through sheer non-exertion. He was an aspiring magician, and he practiced his magic tricks at the bookstand and helped us pass the time. And then there was Alan. Alan had some of the best books around, but he was a little bit temperamental.
So you've looked at enough pictures. I think we should go to the screen.
I'm joking. Just get the fuck out of here. What? Get out of here.
What?
Just leave.
You want to sell me a book?
Absolutely not.
Who else? Paul. Paul was the youngest bookseller on the block, even younger than me, so he was the kid.
Jesus, I should have brushed my hair for this one.
And then there was Al, the oldest bookseller on the block. He sold only maps and atlases, so we called him Al Mappo.
What kind of cigars do you smoke?
Philly blunts.
Polish Joe, smoker of 100 cigarettes, had no regular spot. He was a drifter. He sold on West 4th Street, 3rd Avenue, St. Mark's Place, wherever the wind would blow him. Joe was often full of doubt and was sometimes unlucky in the book trade. Boris was from Russia. He was a ruthless businessman. He disappeared a while back, and no one's heard from him since. Thomas loved his books, and he dreamed of opening his own bookstore one day. He took care of his books like they were his children. He'd find a beat-up, unwanted volume of Pythagoras, erase all the blemishes, smooth out all the creases, meticulously repair the spine, add a dab of glue, and then give it a new home. I never once saw Thomas eat or drink. He seemed to somehow derive his nourishment from his books, living off of them as a lichen lives off of a rock. All right, so there were a lot of other booksellers out there, but one of the most successful, the one that I learned the most from, was Peter Whitney, bookseller extraordinaire. A lot of people seek good fortune. Well, Pete seemed to be good fortune himself. He had the touch. He was also a hard worker.
So, that one there, Treasury of Art and Literature, if you hold it long enough, somebody will buy it. These other two are going to be real hard to sell.
There were others like Zach. He lived in New Jersey, land of the 10-cent book. Tony was from the Czech Republic, and he played a mean guitar on the side. Emil told me he escaped, but never said from where. And then there was myself, true bookman in my own right, although in the beginning I was green. There was another street, another strip, where booksellers hung out, and that was only a few blocks away, over on 6th Avenue, the Avenue of the Americas. Marv was the spiritual leader, the angel of the group.
I said, BAM! Man, I saw the light from there on. I saw little devils just flying out of my head. Because I said, that was it. I didn't want nothing to do with drinking and drugs no more. No more. As a matter of fact, I was a recovered alcoholic right then.
The guys out on 6th Avenue had a different style, different method. They even had different books. But we were fundamentally the same, being booksellers.
I want to sell you these books. There's 65 books here. Everyone in this university must read these authors, otherwise they'll just leave here like illiterate. All right?
We got some good titles, but overall, it's a bad batch.
I just think a lot of them are not marketable, a high percentage of them. There's not that they're bad, and when I go to people's houses and apartments, I say the same thing. Just because I'm not buying it, it's not a reflection of your taste or the fact that the books are bad in any way. It's just a reflection of what I think I can sell.
I'm gonna offer the guy $4 for all these books right here. Because I gotta make some money. Yeah. You understand? So I'm offering $4 for them.
They cheap.
Yeah, we ain't got no money. We trying to make money.
They are fucking cheap. No, I
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
that's
6,
never
7,
15 cents then.
That'll be $1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll be $1.80.
And so the street became a market, a selling ground, like the ancient souk. Innocent street corners all around the city were transformed into atoms of commerce.
Check them out. Hey, here we go, over here. We got some. We got some.
He's working. Almost went to work.
There's a lot of, what the hell would they call a thing like this? It's got a lot of pictures, like,
Encyclopedia?
no, not a cyclopedia, like, photography, like.
I can see these books.
Well, they were hidden.
They've been there weeks all the time. I haven't come,
No, I've had them about a week.
and I come through here and I never.
What are they? They're, it's a set of series of Eastern religion. You see Alan Watts here?
Oh,
it's a 3-volume set. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you this one if you pay full price for these 3. Give me 25 for the 3.
Oh.
They came down here to harass us today, and they harass us when you take this out of my hand.
How are you, man?
Fine, thank you.
What are you looking for today?
Nothing special, just looking.
Je suis connu dans tout le monde, alors là, voyez-vous, voilà, bien sûr. Vive la France, oh, il n'y a rien là-bas. Hein,
Was it a camera?
Yeah, just taking some pictures.
You know what they did?
Lots my stuff are like chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich?
The preferred lunch, 4th Street Booksellers.
What is that?
The chicken sandwich with white sauce.
How'd you do?
I don't do very well. It's kind of short.
I know. Same here.
Yeah.
I was down in the end, but I didn't do very well at all.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey, Jay, what do you call it? Zachary said he did well or something.
Really?
He said he prepared. He had like all kinds of illustrated books or things like that, you know. So.
After a day or two of selling, your table would grow stale, and it was time to get more books, time to hunt again. More books was the mantra of the street bookseller. I went with Peter Whitney on his rounds in New Jersey, land of the 10-cent book.
Seen books anyway?
I'm not really looking for them, but
Well, they're around. It's all junk.
Where?
I can tell you from here, it's all junk, popular fiction. If I find 3 or 4 books in here, I'll be lucky. Looks like today's gonna be a washout. Well, we'll take a Dean Koontz. There's a popular fiction you can sell.
She always finds these sorry guys that are no good for her, and I decided, I was like, well, if I can find her a man that would be like a fantasy to her, maybe she would feel better about herself and find her a man.
Ferlinghetti.
What's that?
Ferlinghetti.
Hidden away, huh?
Uh-huh. As if it were something obscene.
But they were more than just inanimate objects. I mean, they had a life. They had a soul. And the beauty of the book game was we didn't need a license to sell them, thanks to the good old First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Because the First Amendment guarantees every American's right to distribute literature and also protects our freedom of speech. Sure, the First Amendment is a great idea, but all I really wanted to do was hang out, read books, and make a buck.
Between Leonard and Jerry, we were able to make it through that awful afternoon, and I was able to fly out that evening to my father, warmed by their love and affection. That's what makes this episode my favorite.
And what is that? What's that from? Star Trek Memoirs?
Star Trek Memories.
I'll sell Jonathan Livingston Seagull or Adolf Hitler, whichever you like. People will buy it. It's good to them. They have a right to read it.
Well, you have anything on floral arranging?
Teaching goes very quickly. Sometimes you can't find them either. They're all sold out is what it amounts to.
No, these guys are all right. They might be cheap, but they're all right. You know they got to be all right. Look who they got on their table. Elvis Presley.
You know anybody that deals in Elvis memorabilia, you know, books and magazines?
Well, I mean, they make you look bad.
Different books sold on different parts of town. On 6th Avenue, you had more comic books, porno magazines. West 4th Street was heavy into literature, philosophy, and psychology.
Which is the bestseller? Well, let's see. What's the bestseller? Is Naked Lunch. It's a bestseller. On the Road's good.
The Beats.
The Beats, yeah.
Does beat and occult stuff sell best? Not really. Fiction sells best, doesn't it? Yeah, fiction.
Fiction and bad religion.
Fiction and bad religion.
Kurt Vonnegut. They're buying familiar stuff. They're buying familiar books. Or if you have really kick-ass religion philosophy like Dave and Alan up there, real heavyweight stuff.
Yeah.
Then yeah, of course he'll sell that. To like the yeah guy, you know, the professor, the guy who comes around with a top coat on, he goes, yeah, yeah.
You mean they actually stood there and they sold these things, these books they're called?
Oh yeah, books are gonna make a comeback, but right now books are headed in the way of the opera. It's like the opera.
Really?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Go.
What did you buy, man?
Eudora Welty.
Excellent.
Golden apples, right.
It's a good day when you sell Eudora Welty.
Really?
Nice.
Right there, The Great Gatsby. And it's a structural novel, and it's a depiction of America at a turning point in the 1920s. It was the greatest American. Yeah, I mean, you got to give a word to Moby Dick.
What is this? It's just like they stole it out of the coffin? No, what it says in some research is that, you know, Christ vanished between the age of 12 and 30, and nothing's really written about what he did during those years. Though there's records of him in Tibet and in India studying body mastery, like he became a yogin.
Black and white magic.
Yeah,
one of the Secret of Atlantis, the Secret of Atlantis.
Right, Secret of Atlantis.
Which I haven't seen out here. See, I haven't seen the Secret. See, if I had seen it before and bought it, then I wouldn't have bought it.
What's that?
The Secret of Atlantis.
Castanedas, yeah, 2 Castanedas, and let's see, Animal Farm and Catcher in the Rye.
Tom Robbins, Skinny Legs and all.
Biofeedback, self-regulation.
Found a lot of interesting things in books that I've sold. Love letters, old train tickets. Once I had a volume of Ulysses with a 4-leaf clover between every page.
Which means they actually made the recipes more than once, plenty of stains. Made, this one not worth the effort, the snow. It was made, but not liked.
We weren't all as obsessed with books as Thomas. We didn't all love books, but most of us at least liked books. And they had a weight, a feel. They had a smell. They had a soul. It made them seem somehow alive. And that's why I needed to be around them. And that's what our customers went for, too. Our customers.
I don't know if you consider the buyer to be somewhat of an addict, which I think a lot of us are. We'd probably just find another addiction. I don't want to call it a sickness, you know, but I started to say it's a sickness, but I would say it's more like somewhere between a passion and a compulsion, you know.
Well, it wasn't long before I became a friendly neighborhood bookseller, and soon I attracted a group of regulars.
How are you?
How's everything?
Good. How are you doing?
All right. Anything new with the film?
What are you doing on Bloomsday? You be around or?
I don't know. I want to check out one of those marathon readings.
I'd be into that.
I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a book, well, The Subterraneans, I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And one of the editions, paperback in 1966, was a Cheapy Grove press. And I got paid $35 to model for the cover. Jason just asked what books do I like? Haiku. Good Zen, not D.T. Suzuki. Academic Zen, koans.
We want in on film.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 excellent choices.
Let me read in English now.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Instead of?
Portuguese.
Out of 20?
Just another case of the kind of magnetism that a bookseller projects, kind of pulling in a woman and then making her escort or companion feel very uncomfortable. I don't claim to feel proud of it or even know where it comes from, but it's something you have to live with.
Why do you like buying from the booksellers?
Because I'm a seeker of knowledge. I want to know all the knowledge in the universe.
I was right in the middle of it about 2 weeks ago and I lost it.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, this one was great. That one was great.
Especially when you have a sentence like, Nietzsche proudly despises his own emotional illusions.
It was a good investment.
Yeah.
Miriam was one of our most loyal customers. She was a historian, a true scholar. She'd been working 20 years to correct the chronology of history, preceding the conquests of Alexander the Great, and thereby hoped to determine when and if the Word of God might once again reach the ears of modern-day prophets.
Ancilla to classical reading, I got that from Dave. Nature of Greek Myths from Dave. Diogenes Laertius, I got that from Thomas. Human Sacrifice in History and Today. I think I got this from Tony. Looks like Tony to me. This I got from you, a manual of spherical and practical astronomy, 2 volumes. Then I have this book that I bought from Everett, which smelled a little mildewy when I bought it.
Oh, yeah?
And I did everything I could think of. I cleaned it off with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I put it in baking soda or boric acid or whatever it is, and it still smells.
Really?
You can't get rid of the smell. The revolution in physics.
But of course, not everyone who came to the bookstand was a pleasure to deal with.
Don't lean on the table, man. It's gonna break the table. You know what I mean?
I have been over here 5 times looking for you.
The weather's been bad, but
You know, the days that I came out, the weather was nice.
Well, I can't be here every day, you know. Yeah. It was only last Friday. You were going to come after the weekend on Monday.
I know, and I did.
Yeah.
And you weren't here, and I came on Tuesday, you weren't here.
Yeah,
I came on Wednesday, you weren't here. I came on Thursday, you weren't here.
Yeah, I was out a few of those days. Did you come in the mornings?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm there to make money.
Yeah.
All right?
Sure. Not here for
Nobody, they only come around looking for bargains.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? It's bargain day for them. You know, only when it's convenient for them they come around.
Yeah.
But it don't work like that. You come around every time, you know.
Yeah, it was a mistake. The price
come
tag, 'cause we
on.
bought, I am not kidding, we bought these from a book dealer.
It was $4.50 in the
Right,
back.
that's what we paid for it, exactly. I mean, my philosophy is really you didn't buy it when you put it back. I was definitely going to sell it to you for $7.50 because it was too late as far as I was concerned not to sell it. But it's, you did put it back. And
But that was the nature of the beast. The book table was open to any and all comers.
So there's Louis the Loser. What the fuck you doing here with that cat?
Aha! What about the Romulans that were trying to kill all of them?
This guy has been here reading this book for about 20 minutes, and I want him to buy it, because if he buys it, I could leave, feel good about myself. So if he buys it, I'm out of here. But he really should buy it. He's almost read the whole thing. Yeah, it's a good one. You too. I could see his point. Why should he buy it? I mean, he's read it. Yeah. No matter how many times it happens, always hits like a punch to the heart. I could feel the money leaving their wallet and going into mine, and then something happens. You know, a butterfly flaps its wings in Argentina, and then I don't make the sale here.
And so the customers were our mirror image, our reflection. And without them, we wouldn't be out there in the first place. If there were no demand for our books, we'd just be standing around. As Boris used to say, we're not out here to get a suntan. We're here to make money. How much did we make? Well, on a slow day, you might not make $50. On a good day, you might make a few hundred, depending on your books, the weather, and your luck.
How you calculate a day is not necessarily how much money you make, but how the sales are going. If it's going constantly, sale here, sale there, you know, if sale every 5 minutes, you know, it's good. Okay, now see, we go on 2 different times a day, 3 different times really. Okay, now we go on in the morning time to about 12, and that's called like getting the scrap money. $6? You see, between 12 and 5 is really slow. So this second time period after 5 o'clock, is when people get off. And so we call it rush hour crowd.
We got a sale, Somebody's gonna buy it.
If it's kind of like it's been a slow rush hour from 5 to 7, 8, we might stay from 8 to 10. Stay for the late crowd. And the late crowd is usually very brisk, a brisk period of time. And it might last for half an hour to an hour. And it usually starts from about 9, so sometimes 8:30, but mainly about 10 o'clock. You know it's over with if you don't have no money.
7, 8, 9, 10. I made my goal. 2 bills. 2 bills. All right. We got $200. Did all right. I did all right.
Yeah, this is one. This is 2. You can go upside the wall, walk backwards. The homeless man, they get to be a big man. I quit being homeless. I'm going with John Gotti and Martin Luther King and President Kennedy. I'm going with the big guys. I have to vote this year.
Oh, we'd worked hard. We'd stood out in the elements all day, dealt with the riffraff, the grime of the city. It's almost volcanic, the way it settles on the back of your neck and on your books. Some booksellers would go over to Ray's bookstore after work. Ray was a street bookseller himself.
What I'm saying is that if you want to learn something about it, you should grab a chair and sit down and spend some time with it.
You know what it is? I'll tell you, to be quite honest with you, as much as I do want to expand my mind and grow, I have a very hard time reading.
No, the song called, the record, the old one called The Great Southern Railroad. That song was a very true song. In 1910 that happened. Wait, what state you from?
Brooklyn.
And then it was time to go to bed and dream of books and the street like we all did and get ready for the next day.
Stanley Dickinson. That's much for it.
It's German.
Well, it seems to be about Hitler Youth. You know, it's an old book. It seems to be about Hitler Youth. It's got pictures in there. It's in German. I can't read it. 1939. But, all right. We'll take it for $1.
All these little drawers, this is fabulous.
You can do that.
All the new
I collect toads.
Come here.
Live
Look
and dead.
at this.
I went with Pete back to his loft in Newark. This was the heart of his book-selling operation.
What is it? Snakeskins. Shedded snakeskins. This is the skull of a frog, made out of shoe trees and chair parts. You've got sculptures here made out of books. Over here you have a whole section on insects.
Oh, yeah. Right.
More books on snakes, birds of prey, owls, beetles, ants. Bruegel, Bosch, Cornell, Ernst, Magritte, Man Ray, Andre Breton, Hans Belmer, Molinier, Arcimboldo. See, you have an Arcimboldo here, made a face out of fig leaves and potatoes and pumpkins and squash. So we've combined these squash plants here in a terrarium for 3 years now. They've been growing here since there was a sculpture here. And can you see the crickets singing at the front of the terrarium there? If I'm bored and I had a hard day, I worked, sometimes I just come to the studio and fiddle with books a little bit and watch the terrariums and, you know, don't really get to any particular art project.
It's a toad on top of the skull, sort of thing?
Right, well, there's an interesting story that goes with that.
Yeah.
Some time ago, in this jar, which you see nothing right now, I had a toad that was in this terrarium and was sick. It was the first one I'd gotten. Something didn't seem right.
Yeah.
So, when it didn't seem very healthy, I moved it away from the other toads into a terrarium by itself.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, it was dead. I said, oh, it looked all dried out and kind of a nice toad specimen.
Yeah.
Let me put it in a jar.
Yeah.
And keep it as a specimen, a relic.
Right.
Of my toad adventures. Well, about a week later, I looked in the jar and the toad had completely turned to a black mush. And crawling around inside the mush were these maggots. So I did a little research. In my insects books, of course. There's a kind of a fly. It lays its eggs in the nostrils of a toad or a frog and then eats it from the inside out. And this is the remains of the toad that was eaten by the maggots inside out. So we placed it in the requillary here inside the skull.
Wow.
So, how does a bookseller on the street become a bookseller on the street? I mean, we all started as innocent, pristine young babies. Even Boris was a baby once, you know. As I continued my adventures in the book trade, I eventually learned everybody's story. Different stories, true, but also still the same.
A neighbor of mine threw out a whole library of books, so I took that as a sign from, not a sign from above, because his apartment is below mine, so a sign from below that I should start going to the book trade for a while.
There used to be a pizza shop. It's now a bar and restaurant, right there at the corner of 9th Street and 6th Avenue. Oh, Panelli. And one guy came up to me and said, this is block. And then a lot of old ladies keep coming up to me, that's his block. You know, you're not supposed to pan over there. Yeah. Then the guy came up to me and said, yo, here's a bunch of comic books. Yeah. Why don't you go try and sell it and get off my corner?
And I love books. I'm a bibliophile, so if I were going to be retailing any piece of merchandise, I couldn't see doing anything other than books.
Well, no, the whole thing is freedom. You do what you want. You don't have to listen. For instance, I was very caught up in the so-called American dream. I had inherited it from my parents. You know, a fierce. Though I was terribly drug addicted for many years.
Yeah.
I had inherited. In fact, the reason I was drug addicted was because I had inherited this fierce desire to be part of the American dream and work within the system. And I hated going to work every day.
What did you do?
I hated. I've been a stockbroker, sold commodity options.
I was working in the New York Public Library.
And how was that?
I was horrified for the regular libraries, how many bad books they would buy, genre novels. You know, it was unfortunately a real reflection of this sort of 100-channel society that we now live in.
I guess about 15 years ago, when I started doing collage, I found that I couldn't get enough material, so I started going to book sales, public libraries, looking for collage material. Of course, at the same time, I started buying books for myself. When I realized people were selling books on the street, I also started buying with the idea that I might resell them.
How did Thomas get on the street? Probably like the rest of us. He's a book maniac. He couldn't get to work on time, and he had too many books.
You should read a good book, smoke a good cigarette. You know, this is the cafe of the outside.
What is it that brings strangers to the same place? To spend some time together and then move on, like you and me here together right now. Is it chance or fate? What is it that brought Boris from Russia, Tony from the Czech Republic, Ron from Jamaica, Thomas from California, Neil from the South? Neil! Yeah, that was his name, Neil. That was the Southerner. Huh. And I'd grown up in Ohio, in a small town, a long way from the city, and I never thought I'd end up on the street selling my books. But at least I was my own boss. I was working for myself, and I made cash in my hand at the end of the day. You start off naive, and you change into something else. For example, in the beginning, I didn't know George Eliot was a woman. I mean, her name is, George. But after a while, a couple seasons of selling books, 1 year, 2 years passed, and boom, I could talk about all my books expertly, even the ones I hadn't read. It's that sixth sense that you get when you do something long enough. You become what you do, and you know it like the back of your hand, just like any occupation. For example, there are the tools of the trade. We had our own tools: Elmer's glue, razor blades, rubbing alcohol, scissors, tape. It ran the gamut. And that's when the whole gig became a science and an art.
Here you have hydrators from old refrigerators, metal hydrators. They work real nice because they don't rub, they're very smooth surface.
But banana boxes were the traditional method for storing books.
Why do you use banana boxes?
Why? It's just a tradition.
It's a silly tradition?
Huh?
It's just a silly tradition?
They work well.
They're free, they're sturdy, and I like the little pictures of bananas. Cheer me up.
Thomas had more books than the rest of us combined, and he kept them in a special climate-controlled storage room, piled high in banana boxes.
Del Monte.
You use Del Monte banana boxes too?
No.
Did you ever, in your life, knowingly or unknowingly use Del Monte banana boxes? Yes or no?
Not.
Don't try to avoid the question.
It became more and more of a hustle, and the deeper I got into it, the more intricate became the tricks of the trade, which I soon learned from the other booksellers.
How does the bag affect the price?
It makes the price.
Well, that's another point. That's definitely another point, the psychology of it. Sure.
Which is?
Which is that you've made it special by wrapping it, so therefore it's worth more and you can get more money for it. It looks different from the other books on your stand. It's been given a special aura by putting plastic on it and making it inaccessible.
You take any book,
Yeah.
that obviously you know you're not going to get $2 for.
Yeah.
So hence you wrap it in plastic, and then you can sell it for way more than it's worth.
Society, man.
Exactly. $2. Plastic. Now 8. Now $8.
Bible?
Yeah. I like a Bible on the table. Well, for some reason, when a Bible is on the table, it makes the table that much better. For some reason, the table just sells.
Energized.
Yeah, it energizes. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, I don't know, because I feel that way, it just happens.
All these tricks. Huh. In the beginning, I wondered if all these tricks weren't somehow immoral.
Immoral? What are morals? Morals are absurdities created by religion. We quote the divine Marquis. He says, you know, what actually is religion but a means whereby the mighty enslave the weak? How is it the latter believe their manacles are of a divine origin? And what does worship consist of but grotesque ceremonies? And who could be more barbaric than the originator of Christianity? Anyway.
I got rid of the shopping cart, and I bought a car. And once a week, I'd go upstate to visit my connection at the Friends of the Library. It was my secret source. I won't tell you exactly where it is, because it's still a secret.
Hello. Is June here?
Yeah.
She's in the back.
Morning, friends. Right outside. Morning. She's in the back.
So you get that delivery in, or you still waiting for that one?
No, we just got our delivery.
All right, where are those books?
Okay, here, Mike.
All right.
I keep telling you to get a crutch or something.
No, I'll fix it sometime. I'll fix it.
Okay? Boy,
All right. Well,
that's it.
once again.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Back for the books.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Right.
Of course.
And give my best to your mother when you talk to her.
All right. All
Okay?
right. Yep.
All right.
And now Rick would often accompany me on my hunt for books. He was learning the ropes from me, just as I had learned from the others, often providing leads of his own.
Shit, I don't know. He said there'd be 3 gas stations.
Oh, man, I should have talked to him.
I dragged these directions out of him. I made him give them over and over, giving more and more detail.
Excuse me? Sir? Sir? Excuse me, sir?
Gas station's right down there.
Oh, is there 3 gas stations?
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a Rush Diner over there.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, to the left here. Yeah. If we get to the guardhouse, we've gone too far. Jason, yeah, if we get to a guardhouse, it's up a hill. Look for Johnson. This is it. We've gone too far. We have gone too far. This is the guardhouse.
So where do I go?
Turn around. See, this is a sign that you have to... Do you think 25 is unreasonable for this?
What is it?
Chagall.
Chagall?
Yeah.
See if you can get 25. Why not? What were you thinking?
Got all these boots, these heavy duty boots and shit. See that shit, man? Got on 2 hoods. Yeah. And, see, I got 2 hoods on. Don't look it. You see, I got 1 hood and another one.
Oh, yeah.
See?
What's that?
You couldn't keep a watch on these books for a few minutes while I go water the hole across the street.
Water the hole? What do you mean? Take a leak?
Yeah, take a leak and get a slice of pizza, too.
All right.
I'll be right back.
I'll be here.
It was a cold one today. I did pretty good considering.
Yeah? What'd you do?
185. All right. I was hoping to make 2, but I didn't really expect to. I would have settled for 100 if that's all I could get. I think my limit is about 30, but I look for a day when it's going to get up to 40. We're talking about the high, not this time in the evening. It's gotten colder than that. The high was supposed to be 40-something today. But if it's gone, I haven't been able to work for a week because it's been in the 20s. I get a day that the high is going to be 30. I'll be out here if I need the money.
So, where did we go at night when it got too cold? We booksellers. Weren't we just homeless bums? I couldn't think of anyone out on West 4th Street that didn't have a place to go, and I used to think that some of the guys on 6th Avenue were homeless until Marv told me otherwise.
Like people like, you know, Ishmael, Rock, they hardcore, you know, I wouldn't call them homeless people, but what's a good word for it? People who out, they don't live in a home, they live outside, but they can go inside any kind of way they want to, even if they can buy them. Ishmael don't even want to go inside.
Yeah.
He can always afford to get a room out here like everybody else out here that got in the room over in the White House, you know.
What's the White House?
White House is like a flop house.
Huh.
That's, you know.
Eventually, though, that fateful winter day would arrive, the coldest of the cold, and we knew that selling was over for that season. Some of us went away for the winter. I went out to New Mexico one year, worked on a Western. But if you stayed in the city, you had to resort to alternate means of making a living.
What kind of sink is the other place going to have?
Much better.
Much better than this?
It's more like 160. Much better sink.
This is kind of shallow.
It's too shallow for... Then we do the shampoo.
Pete had built up a regular clientele. He'd been cleaning some of the same cats for 15 years or so.
There'll be no estate sales, no house sales this time of year. A week or two they'll start again, and the book sales are pretty much gone until spring. So here we go. Come on, big boy.
This is Sherlock Holmes. He's 17.
Wow.
And that's not 17 pounds like Rick's cat.
And Rick, who had been practicing his magic tricks, broke out his deck of cards, got a haircut, and landed a few gigs.
So now, like this, take any one of these cards. Some go this way, some go that way, some go up, some go down. Susan, this is your card.
That TV reception is just not gonna do. But we know for my last cigarette, I really don't want to be futzing the material.
So another year had come and gone in what seemed like the blink of an eye. And our Roman calendar moved forward one more year.
Turn it over.
Turn it over. Yeah. Because we always hunting. We go out and hunt for books. We don't wait for people to bring books to us to sell us. You understand? We go out and go get stuff. And we always get new stuff. So why are we gonna keep the old stuff? We're not gonna have any room.
Yeah, the old stuff is not going to sell, and if it don't sell in the last 3 days, why keep it?
Yeah, because we always go and get stuff. Those guys, the reason why they stick to their prices too is because they buy the stuff. They put out money to get their stuff.
Yeah, right.
We don't put out any money to get our stuff most of the time. Yeah. We go out and get our
hunt
stuff.
for it.
That's how we work as a partner. Yeah. One stays and make the sales. The other one goes out and get the stuff.
Yeah.
Ah.
You understand?
Right.
We want to keep going out and get stuff. If we keep the old stuff, a lot of the stuff that we don't think didn't work out, iffy stuff.
Yeah.
Like iffy might sell tomorrow.
Yeah.
It might discourage us from going out because we might look and say, oh, we got a lot of stuff. So what we do, we weed it out. We weed out all the iffy stuff at the end of the day and keep only the thing that we're sure is going to sell tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. This is at least two. See? This is about $10 worth of stuff right here. See what I'm saying?
How much?
$10.
Excellent.
At least $10. At least. I don't want you following me. Huh? Yeah, you gotta go on in. You got enough. Oh, now come on now, Grady. See, I left you over there on that goddamn street. No. You go on in. Don't let me see you no more. You got all this right here in one place? Over there, on the next street over. Not this street, not Broadway. Yeah, but that's old. I don't care nothing about him being old, Molly. Still get $2 or $3 for the motherfucker. I don't give a damn how old he is. He's been sober for a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half. He never hunted before that. And then once he got sober, he said, oh shit, what am I doing? I'm missing the boat. he picked up on it real quick. Huh?
Better to be the bull than
be bullied by.
Bullied by the bull.
Yeah, bullied by the bull.
Yeah.
Because you could have a sort of comfortability because the bull will, like a corporation or outfit where people work, they'll set them for, let's say, they say a lifetime. You work here 20 years, you get retirement. So, but how often are you hearing downsizing? How often are you hearing companies going out of business? How often are you hearing you have to have more education to continue in your fees and your field and where, oh man, forget all.
Well, winter finally gave way to spring, and with it came the idiot's frightful laughter. Springtime, my favorite season. Time of haircuts. Time to get outside.
Look at this motherfucker. Look at this. Look at this. Good shot. Yeah?
Bobby, are you here? Whoa, nice butt. You're so cute. Let me record you. You look so good. Let me see your butt. Oh. Oh, he did show it to you. Oh, no. Let me see. Deborah. Oh, we're gonna have some fun. Mr. Middleman.
Really?
Nobody's surprised you. This could be.
Because you had your doubts before that he would even...
Get through the winter.
Yeah.
But he has, and I'd say he's on a plateau now. Hello, how are you? Everett, how you doing, man?
That's Washington Square Park. Where do you want to go in Greenwich Village?
No, I don't know. Just for a visit.
Uh-huh. You might want to go down to Bleecker Street.
Yes.
You got some. There's something. Oh, it must be. I can see something in your. The thing is, well, it should catch the you should catch the beautiful color of this customer's hat.
All right. Thank you very much.
We really like your hat. Nice hat.
Thank you.
Nice color.
Thank you. I like it too.
Yeah. I don't think I could pull it off, but.
You might. You might.
No, that was the 70s.
Hi, Jason. Do you think I'll be okay in a sweatshirt?
Sure.
I mean, a t-shirt. It's a t-shirt. Do you like an extra sweatshirt or something?
Well, I got a sweater.
Got a sweater? My car got towed last night.
Where'd they take it?
I don't know. We got to call the sheriff's office today. I didn't get a chance yet.
The sheriff took it.
Roscoe P. Coltrane took it. He found moonshine in the back. I'm just trying to fight the system.
Ready for the book, sir?
No, I only got $20.
Well, the books are a dime, so don't worry about it.
The Cormac McCarthy was the unusual.
In New York, I think it goes better than it does elsewhere.
Nice clean copy of On the Road. Looks pretty bleak, huh? We got Jim,
And we got Everett. That looks like it.
It's Tony.
Tony. Jim, Everett, Tony, and Steve. All clustered here around the nucleus.
We didn't know it yet, but the mayor had just implemented a plan for the city called Quality of Life. And part of his plan involved cleaning up the streets, getting rid of undesirable elements. We noticed mysterious orange and yellow lines suddenly appearing on the curbsides where we sold our books.
Yellow lines is, that's where they want everybody to set up at. Right between the lines, because they measured it according to them. And anything that's between these lines is they're certain feet away from the doorway.
I'm not going, you big queer!
And we could sense, very subtly at first, that the streets had become less friendly somehow.
It looks like it could possibly fly. Seems to have a head injury. See?
Number one, I tie him to a chair. I tie him to a chair. Their arms and their legs, all right? Then I start cutting them in little places. Let them bleed in all different places.
Oh, out of 5?
I drain their blood right out of them. I roast those bastards. I burn them alive. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, yeah. Yep.
What's that cop doing over there? Is that for you?
No, they're there for. You didn't hear about Alan's confrontation this morning with a mailman and the police.
What happened?
Can't afford. I don't ask Alan. I don't know exactly.
I heard you had a run-in with the mailman. No?
Well, apparently the guy probably wanted him to move, and he refused to move. So the mailman called the cops. The cops came by and told him to be cool. Treat the mailman with respect.
Yeah.
He's your superior.
What did Alan do? What did he say?
I wasn't there, so I can't say what he said, but I
can only imagine.
I can only imagine that he won't give him respect the next time either.
There's the public servants.
There's cops all over the place.
Cops?
Talking about the cops. Did you notice the cops go by?
There were cops here when we got here.
Oh, no, in the car. I think they're like more. Yeah.
And then the cop come by and said you got to be out of here by 11.
Right, because they give one table a person, right?
No, well.
Oh, they got curfew now?
Yeah, they came up with these new sets of laws on this quality of life thing. Oh, wow, look at this lady.
I know, I was watching.
Yeah, you're slickly watching, right?
And so it went for a while, this squeeze play on the part of the city, with the orange and yellow lines getting closer and closer and more numerous. And then they closed down a few spots over on the east side, like over on Astor Place by the wine shop where I used to sell too. And then, suddenly, like locusts straight out of the Old Testament, they came for the books. A tax identification number was introduced, and it was required that each of us obtain one. But the tax ID number was arbitrarily enforced. It was really just a pretext for getting some booksellers off the street.
What's up? They told you to pack it up? Why?
Why I'm packing up? Why don't you ask him why I'm packing up? I don't have a tax ID card. If I take the summer, he gonna take him anyway. You gonna take my shit? You gonna write me a summer too? I'm not taking a summer neither. You can't write me a summer and take my shit too.
Meanwhile, over on West 4th Street, officials from the nearby university took it upon themselves to try to get rid of the booksellers in the vicinity. So they put monster planters along the curbsides without notifying the community board or gaining permission from the city. and thereby hoped to squeeze us out. Good old alma mater.
That's the line right there? Yeah. Some arbitrary line. He was the cop who painted the line, I think.
He used to have the long hair?
Yeah, that one. I think that one. Used to have long hair, right. See, this is the real line, this blue thing.
Yeah.
And this is another line they'd considered. This is actually probably the true line.
That dot.
That dot. But they decided this was more inconvenient because you can't get an 8-foot setup in here. So.
But it was the guys out on 6th Avenue that got hit the hardest, repeatedly.
Fucking job hard for you. You make your own fucking job hard for you. Because you always doing foul shit to people. I don't give a fuck. I'll be here. You know where I'll be at.
Conquer my soul, but I heard the voice of Jesus saying still to fight on. He promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone. No, never alone. No, never alone. Promise never to leave me.
Nobody could stop me from setting up. You know why? Because the people in the village, you know why? They want to read. This ain't Brooklyn, this ain't the Bronx. These people want to read. Yeah. And when they get a hold of a rare book, it's like they get intoxicated. It's like they get high. They want it, and then they want more. Where you get this book from? If they don't have it in the library, they don't have it in the bookstore. I talk to lawyers, doctors, everybody. You understand? Some of these people, they inherit their money, but still, they be writers, whatever. You understand? They love to read. Yeah. And then when they see me with a book, a certain book, yeah. And they remember me. Yeah. Damn, that guy. Damn.
Over on West 4th Street, we decided to hold a meeting to determine what our course of action should be, with none other than Thomas at the helm.
But let's do it and do it now and do it right.
I agree with you. That I'm not arguing.
The fucking traffic guy got out of his car and he said to me, the university doesn't want you here anyway.
Now that's ridiculous.
That's wrong.
That's fashion.
I don't have to hear that from the fucking New York City Department of Traffic.
See, my feeling is that let's decide what we want to do and agree on it now, and let's do it.
I don't.
Let me get the letter. No. My question is that if I came out here tomorrow morning, how much space am I allowed to claim for my operation?
Here's where we're going to have a problem and what's going to be an acceptable number.
Wait, hold on. What he's bringing up...
The feeling is, okay, when I see you guys with 3 tables that I know is over 8 feet, I don't have a good feeling about it. I've never said it to you because it's not my business.
Of course.
No, see, I don't see it that way. Not that it's a bad idea. You should never have a 3rd table, which you guys have had. But I don't want to get into it. It's none of my business. I don't care about it. I'm not going to make it on
I
this.
do care. Set up with 12 feet at the end to make room for people on the other side of the planter. I always fucking have. I come out at 8 a.m. in the morning. I take another fucking spot so other people can get spots. Don't give me that fucking bullshit.
Let's get down to the issue.
If the police took your books, you had to go to the precinct as soon as you could if you wanted to get them back. Otherwise, they were destined for a giant warehouse in Queens.
have to be patient to watch them. It's almost a Zen activity to watch toads. See, the cricket, once it strike at and you miss it, once it freezes, the toad isn't going to strike until the cricket moves again. If the cricket freezes long enough and the toad loses attention and looks away, then the cricket is free to move. If it's able to sense that, the contact has been broken. And some crickets are able to sense that, and then they'll run away.
Well, we managed to hold on to our way of life, to continue selling books, despite the pressure from the city. We went to community board meetings and spoke in our defense. We went to see the judge, and he threw out our bogus summonses. But it would never be the same. A snake had entered the garden. There was now an air of tension. And where we had once freely plied our trade, which so many people in the neighborhood appreciated, we were now pariahs, and we were branded undesirable. The newspapers started printing articles about how all our books were stolen, and that wasn't true. That wasn't true at all. Except for a few unscrupulous booksellers, it wasn't the case. But it didn't seem to matter. Were the forces at work in the city greater than the plans of any single politician? I mean, what is this thing that seeks to regiment, control, organize, and commodify everything in its path? This thing that cleans the streets, this devouring worm which eats our cities from the inside out.
Emil, come over here, will you? I'm talking to you. Wait, don't make with the fucking hand. Come here. Hey, Emil.
I made fucking shit money. You understand that?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But you got a mouth, you could talk, you know.
Yesterday, I made some fucking money, but
Yeah.
today fucking shit. No $1 fucking dollar. Believe it or not, I don't sell.
You didn't even make a sale?
No. Well, that's what
I know how you feel, man. Sometimes I don't make any money either. And my friend Eddie, he couldn't even sell his books either. He had good books, you know. But the only trouble with him is he used to fight with his customers. When he had the chance, he used to fight with them.
So, how's it going down there?
I don't know. I
Has
haven't
it picked
been down
up?
there.
Well, did it
Since
pick up
before.
since I talked to you last? Paul seems to be doing all right. I mean, he's not getting rich, but
As the city continued to shut down legal selling spots, competition between us became more and more fierce. Everett stayed out later and later, longer and longer, in order to secure a hold on his favorite spot. It wasn't long before the first bookseller threw in the towel. That honor belonged to Polish Joe.
What, Joe's getting rid of his books?
Yeah, Joe is kind of troubled here. He says he just lay down here and said, look down on the books.
Just this past year, you decided to get your...
Decided it wasn't worth the hassle. The combination of the police, their new regulations, the taxes, and many other things. You know, it seemed like they got down on even booksellers. It's my last day, as if they were in the commerce of some illegal substance or something, which is information.
Joe.
John O'Hara.
Didn't take you long to make your mind up.
Psychic powers.
Let me confide in you, I was also getting sick of it too. I was just tired of standing around. After 3 years of book selling, I felt like I needed to move on. And the human forces that opposed us, the mailman, the cops, the mayor, the university, they still weren't enough to drive me away. to force me to change. This required higher powers.
Hold on, come on, man. It's getting raining hard now. Come on.
Yeah, but you're not going to even put all this shit in. Here, take this.
Oh, you got 4. That's 4, right? I don't want 4.
And like they say in that famous book, the rain fell. The rain fell on the just and the unjust alike. It was right after that great storm that I realized, that I felt, that I'd reached the end. I went out one last day to get rid of the remaining books. But business was so slow, I didn't see any hope of becoming free of them, of selling them off to the civilians, as Alan used to call them. Suddenly it occurred to me, I'd sell them off to the other booksellers.
You know, this is the last of the,
What do you mean, last of the books?
Last of the books. I'm getting out of the business.
Oh, is that what it is?
Hell yeah.
This is not all your books.
This is the last of the books. This is the last.
Wait a minute, you must have had more books than this.
I had 8 crates of books.
What happened with them?
Sold them off, man.
You Everett must have got them.
Everett got some of them.
Uh-huh. And Tony?
got some of them.
Uh-huh.
Steve got some of them.
And you left me with the shit.
No, you weren't around, bro. You weren't around. You weren't around.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
So what do you think about my books, man? Are you interested in this last batch, or?
Hey, man, I didn't go through all of them yet. Wait a minute, will you?
All right, all right.
I'm going to take a fucking chance. I'm taking a chance.
All right.
Because the money I got on me, man, is my food money.
I hear
But
you.
I'll take a chance.
All right.
Go ahead. What the fuck?
I don't want.
I made a deal. I made a deal. Here, here's your $20. Here.
Well, no, listen. I'm gonna give.
And then I went home. I gathered up a few of my prized books, like my favorite volume of Leaves of Grass, some Rilke, some Dostoevsky, some Kerouac. Got ready to leave. And you know what? Wally was right. Let the money go unearned, and let the books be unopened. I take to the open road with you, and I'm glad you're here. Oh yes, a little news from the road regarding the booksellers. Thomas, who loved his books so much, he got a store. And Paul started selling his books on the internet. But Everett, well, he stayed out there too long. The city was too much for him. And he cracked. And he had to leave the street. Polish Joe is still struggling to give up the books, but he did manage to quit smoking. Pete, well, Pete's still out there when he's not doing a cat grooming. You might find him tearing apart one of his old books to use as collage material. As for the guys out on 6th Avenue, well, they're still getting hassled a lot, but they're still out there. Marv took a break. He met a girl, started a family. And how could I forget? Slick Rick Sherman got married. He and Beth tied the knot. And things are constantly changing, of course. A lot of the old-timers have left, and there are new faces coming to the street. As for me, I'm heading out west to start something new, to get some perspective on all of this, everything. Institutions, nations, civilizations, they'll all come and go. Even the Empire State Building will one day crumble. But as long as there are human beings who live and inquire and question things, there'll be words and stories. There'll be room for everybody. Read a good book, smoke a good cigarette. This is the cafe of the outside.